Split decision in the Epic Apple lawsuit results in a split Fortnite. And I realize a lot of you guys might not play Fortnite, or you might be all down on Fortnite because it's for kids or it's a bad game or whatever the case may be. But platform fragmentation like this is honestly just not really good for anyone. Like the overwhelming trend in the industry over the last few years, and I've been very supportive of this, is towards more cross-platform play. More cross-platform interaction, better cross-platform licensing. Microsoft has absolutely been a pioneer when it comes to cross-platform licensing of games, for example, where you buy it for one system and you that's a game that you own and you want to play it on your PC, your Xbox, your other more different Xbox. You're good. You own it. This is never good and always bad for the consumer when this kind of fragmentation happens. But let's dig a little bit into why it's happening. So a US district judge handed legal victories and defeats to both Apple and Epic in their App Store feud. For those of you who are a little behind the times on this developing story, pretty much Epic is real sick and tired of paying 30% of their in-app revenue to Apple and Google, but they've been really focused more on Apple with the cheekier aspects of this whole thing. Apple is real happy collecting 30% of all revenues that go through the App Store, and that's causing some conflict. Epic tried to get an exception, not just for themselves. They actually asked for a reduction in fees for other developers as well. Apple basically said no, so Epic gave them a big with like an in-game event where they did a parody of Apple's famous 1984 commercial and all that kind of stuff, served them with a gigantic lawsuit outlining why Apple's behavior is monopolistic and should be illegal. And then Apple turned around and basically yoinked not just Fortnite from the App Store, but actually, unlike on Android, Apple can remove Fortnite from phones where it's already installed. They actually do have that power. And to add insult to injury, Apple pulled Epic's Unreal Engine developer tools that they need, not just for themselves for Fortnite, but also for their customers who license the Unreal Engine for games that run on Apple devices. So that's the history. Now let's get into what's gone on this week. So neither side got the slam dunk that they had each hoped for. So the court partly granted and partly denied Epic's motion for a temporary restraining order on Apple pulling their development tools and Fortnite from the App Store. So, but Apple is temporarily restrained from taking any action against Epic Games in retaliation for their lawsuit with respect to restricting, suspending, or terminating any affiliate of Epic Games from the Apple Dev program, including Unreal Engine.
So basically, it's localized to Fortnite specifically.
Yes.
Which actually kind of makes sense.
Isn't that crazy that Fortnite has become this, like, not just cultural phenomenon in terms of games, but like the eye of this storm like around
legal chess piece.
Yeah, right? Isn't that crazy?
It's pretty wild.
Now, Apple can continue banning Fortnite on the App Store until Epic returns it to its pre-ban condition, in which it no longer tries to bypass in-app purchase fees. Right, I missed that part where Epic, as part of their neener, just included a way to buy, I forget what the in-game currency is called in Fortnite. I'm sorry. V-Bucks, sure, whatever.
I don't play, but I've been following the news on this a lot.
Sure. They made it so you could buy V-Bucks in-game, bypassing Apple's 30% cut. So here's what's going to happen then, because I really don't foresee Epic backing down on this. Remember, guys, we're talking, if Epic gets the kind of fee structure that they think is fair, which based on their own Epic Game Store is somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15%, we're talking tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue that are being fought over here. And Epic has already, at this point, soured the relationship. You know, Tim and Tim are not going to be getting together for like, you know, a bro down, you know, gaming session or like, I don't know, whatever Tim Cook does for fun anytime soon. So like the relationship's already sour. There's tens or hundreds of millions of dollars on the line. They've already, not just that, but they've already invested in all the legal fees to put this case together. I really don't think they're going to back down. So what's happening is Fortnite is going to be splitting into 2 different games, since iOS players are going to be stuck on the current version for some time. So PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Android players will all continue to have cross-play compatibility and new content, and Apple users will be left without any new content. So they're essentially held in limbo in the game's current state.
It's interesting because so are they pulling their custom payments then? To get back on the App Store? Because as far as my understanding goes, I didn't have it installed.
Well, I don't think they're on the App Store.
So they're not on the App Store, and they were removed from iOS phones, were they not?
Well, I don't think Apple ever actually did that.
Oh, okay, so they have the ability to, but
yes, they can, but check this out. So here's eBay. So that looks fine. Apple iPhone XS Max got an auction there. Hold on a second. Let's just go. Whoa! Is that a $3,000 iPhone with Fortnite on it?
What?
Whoa! $2,000 iPhone with Fortnite. Oh, plus AirPods. It comes with AirPods. What else we got? $2,600. Let's see if we can find some iPhones with Fortnite. Hold on a second. Show only sold items. Here we go.
Is there like some way to see what the highest one of these has actually sold for? Well, like, are these actually moving?
This one sold at $1,750. An iPhone XR 64 gig with Fortnite installed for $1,750. Some of them are going for not a lot, so it seems to kind of come down to luck of the draw if you're going to find a taker.
So a brand new iPhone XR 64 gig is $799. So that was essentially someone essentially paid $1,000 to have Fortnite installed. Is that right? Apparently.
That's what it looks like. So this has a couple of bids right here. So there's a XS Max 256 gig for $1,700. So it looks like it's kind of all over the place, but there are definitely people that are paying more for an iPhone with Fortnite installed. So it shows you what the demand is like. And what I wonder is because yes, Epic could easily return their app to a, here you go, Apple, here's 30% of our V-Bucks revenue state. And their users would be allowed to have new Fortnite updates. But it seems like the gamble that Epic is banking on here is that between their verbiage in all their materials they've released about this, and their parody and the way they've sort of railed against Apple as a monopolist and all that, it seems like they are counting on themselves looking like the good guys in what's probably going to become a war of attrition. This could take a very long time, because if Epic plays their cards right here, the customers will put pressure on Apple to yield and give developers a better share of the revenue, and Epic will win that way. But if Epic miscalculated here and users side with Apple and they think that 30% is a perfectly fair amount to pay for basically payment processing and a safe platform, because really that's a lot of Apple's argument is we need that money so it's even worth our time to keep investing in the App Store. That's basically how it came across when I was reading it. I was like, really, you guys? No, you invest in the App Store because you need to sell a lot of iPhones. Even if you got 5%, you'd keep investing in the App Store because that's what makes you a relevant platform. Developers. Sorry.
That was an epic. You should if you just search developers, you'll find what that was a reference to.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's great.
That guy is like a bazillionaire now and owns a sports team. It's like, how you whatever. The world's a funny place to live. But anyway,
speaking of all of this, should I Okay, I'll say one more thing.
No, I want your opinion first on this. Okay. So which way do you think the typical Apple customer is going to go? Who do they blame? Because either Apple or Epic can fix this with the push of a button. Who do they blame?
I think the average Fortnite fan is going to blame Apple. just because they want to play their game.
But
and there's
hold
going to
on.
be some like tilting there.
No, I want to argue with you because, okay, I hate to stereotype, but we're going to stereotype a little bit here. Who is the average Fortnite fan? How old are you? 12? Somewhere between
is this Googleable?
10 and 14, like you're somewhere in like you have a lot of time to spend on your phone. You think a phone is a platform for like hardcore gaming, and you like cartoony games like Fortnite or whatever. Like I don't know, you think dancing in game is really cool. Like you're probably somewhere between like 9 and 25. Why don't we say that?
So it says that 62.7% of the player base is 18 to 24, but they don't have any age group distribution that's below 18.
Okay.
So I think all their numbers are going to be wrong.
Okay, so more than half are 24 and under. Why don't we call it that?
Yeah.
Okay, then. Now, let me hit you with this. The rabid Apple fanboys. Like I was reading a really interesting article about Apple's market share in the US, like in high schools, for example. You can walk around a high school in the US and it is hard to find an Android phone. Like that
Really?
that blue message bubble is a big deal. Like we even see posts on the forum about it and stuff. Like someone's
high
like
schools?
Yeah, someone's like yeah, it's like crazy. My friends are all like, what's wrong with you? You got an Android phone. Like, what are you, poor people or something? Because that's the thing about the iPhone is that...
Well, what's with all these ballin' parents? They're really expensive phones. Why are you buying that for your kids?
Well,
I don't understand.
Remember, there's a couple different factors here. So one, Apple has more affordable phones. Now, the XR is actually a great value considering it has a flagship processor in it.
$800.
Don't forget that carrier subsidies are a big thing. So you buy an iPhone 10, like what's an iPhone 10R? iPhone 10R Verizon 3-year plan, right? So you buy an iPhone 10R on a 3-year plan from Verizon. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I'm not American, so I'm not familiar with this stuff off the top of my head here. It'd be great if this page would hurry up and load here. Okay, $20.83 a month. So that's what Apple has managed to do, is they've managed to turn something that's actually very affordable, if you have like even a small amount of income, like casual work on the side as a kid. And when you consider how much an iPhone or really any good phone can do, it's not unreasonable to spend that amount of your income on your phone, assuming you don't also need like, a computer and laptop, like a desktop and a laptop and like all these other things. Like your iPhone might take the place of, when we were kids, maybe you had a portable music player, right? Maybe you had a Game Boy or a PSP or Vita or whatever. Maybe you also had a flip cell phone or whatever. Like the one device takes all those places. So even though that kid at school that had a Discman and a portable game console, right, might not be the most ballin' out kid ever. If they save their pennies, they might have that stuff actually. Yeah. So it's not totally unreasonable for kids to have iPhones. So if we consider that this is the same demographic that religiously buys iPhones, do you want to change your answer? Hit me.
I don't think so.
Okay, why?
Most of the I've been getting some flack from the audience on Twitter about apparently not knowing what I'm talking about in regards to what we've done with the iOS app, which I'm extremely excited to talk about shortly. But I've also been tagged in a lot of these discussion threads, which I have never been involved with, but have gotten lots of notifications about them. So I've been kind of following along of people debating each other about Apple versus Fortnite.
Oh,
and there's
okay.
3 or 4 different threads where these like 2 Twitter dudes that I don't think have ever talked to each other before have just been going back and forth for like a week. One of them is like, I'm assuming hundreds of messages long at this point.
Oh, wow.
And so far, with my extremely limited view, I understand that, I have seen mostly like this guy's like, I play Fortnite, and they are very much embracing the 1984 commercial, bring down the man, the 30% is crushing developers mentality, which I agree with quite a bit. 30% is a ton.
It's a lot.
Like it's a massive amount to digest. So I get that part. And then most of the other side of the argument that I've been seeing has been entirely embracing Apple's messaging of security and just like ease of use for the user and security. And that's mostly it. I haven't seen a ton of like, oh, the 30% makes that's what they should be making. There has been some of that, but I think the majority of the argument that I've seen from that side has been the security and reliability of that payment processor.
Now, to be clear, I don't disagree with you. I think you're probably right. I think that the relationship that Epic Games manages to build with customers, or has managed to create with their customers over the last couple of years, is absolutely incredible. They have done, hands down, a phenomenal job. 100%. You can never take that away from them. And I think that most people will probably want to put pressure on Apple over this. And I also want to address some of the discussion around the 30%, because I think what some people think is that this is all about 30% being the right number according to Apple and being the wrong number according to Epic Games. But this is actually a much, much bigger conversation than that. The conversation is around Apple's monopolistic position in the market. It's around that 30% is controlled by an entity that has far more power over the people that wouldn't like it than is fair in like a free and open market. So what Epic Games is saying is that, well, okay, fine. If you want to charge 30% on your Apple App Store, then power to you. But in order for this to not be a monopoly, because you, Apple, have so much market share in the mobile space, you're going to have to open it up to other app stores. Now, we would accept a lower percentage in the Apple App Store, but if you're not willing to yield on that, then we're going to go after you for what we perceive to be monopolistic behavior. And quite frankly, I think Apple's going to lose this fight, because it's exactly the kind of stuff that Apple used to sit on the sidelines being too small for anyone to care about when Microsoft was getting beat up for it by the European Union back in the early 2000s. Or throughout the 2000s, really, actually. But now that Apple's in this position of power, they have absolutely abused it. And so now they're just getting a taste of their own medicine, really.
In my limited opinion, I think Microsoft was actually in less violation of this type of stuff than Apple currently is in. And I think America and a lot of other countries have sat on their butts in terms of antitrust laws for a very long time. And this might be the reawakening of those types of enforcement, because it's gotten a little ridiculous, especially with mobile platforms.